Gonna drive me crazy. Ready, 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 ready. Gonna drive me crazy.
Should we do an intro to our show, or should we just keep coming on like this?
Either way. Hey, welcome to our show. We are the Business Cheese Spot Podcast,
Yes.
where we talk about business topics and we take a topic from the news that kind of ties into business and we tie it all together.
That Tim likes. A business. Wait a minute. A topic from the news that Tim likes.
That Tim likes. Yeah, that Tim likes. That Tim approves of. Katrina looks for it. Tim approves it. Yeah. Let's do it that way.
For a reason, because you're great at pulling stories up, but I've got years of broadcast, and I've got years of both. I've got 10 plus years of doing broadcasts, and I have seen fans and I have seen haters. Oh my God, I never want to go back to the haters again.
Yeah,
I know it'll happen someday, but I try to avoid them. It's just not my sweet spot. We're positive people, and they're just like, they're looking for a reason to fight, and I want to stay away from them. I don't want to talk about what they're talking about.
I agree, and I brought up a couple topics that you're like, no, that won't work. So I get it.
It's all about what's hot in the news today and how it relates to your business, because we're both entrepreneurs. We're not CEOs of major corporations. We're small shop entrepreneurs, which is what most of you guys, the listeners, are. And we want to talk about how relevant this stuff is in the news. So I follow stuff in the news that's related to one of my other businesses, but it doesn't relate to this podcast. So anyway,
and we try our best to stay away from politics and religion because that's when the haters come in. Stop in the name of love.
All right, I know how I can stop the religious people. I've got that down. Right? So I want you to picture this deer. Before we go into the topics, I'm going to tell my little joke of the day. Picture the dear little old granny comes up to you at Burger King one day and she says, "Timmy, do you know Jesus?" And I said, "Yes, I do. He comes to my house every Thursday. I think he pronounces it Jesus. He's great with lawns. You want his business card?"
He's a great guy. He's very helpful.
There's nothing that will frustrate or piss off an old church lady faster when you do that. Now, I'm a Christian, but I'll play that joke all day long. All right.
That was like
last Sunday we're walking out of the Mavericks game. Sunday or Saturday or Friday. We're walking out of the Mavericks game in downtown Dallas, and there's a guy out there. There's a guy out there with a megaphone. All right, just preaching and hounding on people, right? And then there's people trying to hound tracks us. I'm a Christian. I get it. It's outreach. All right. But I really want to walk up to the guy and go, "Shut up. No one's listening."
Yep. Take the megaphone away.
No. The best thing I have ever found, when it comes to religion, the people who actually do things to help people and then share them their religion. And that's what we teach in business. You show people you can help them by actually helping them, right? What a concept, right? And I served up several years there's one Christian organization I still will give my money to, and it's called the Christian Motorcyclists Association, right? They go to motorcycle rallies. They volunteer to run registration. They volunteer to clean the bathrooms. They volunteer to run the showers. They volunteer to pick up trash. They volunteer for that. And all they ask at that biker rally is for all this volunteers, can we host a Sunday morning service? That's all they ask, right?
Pretty simple.
Yeah, they volunteer all weekend. They host a Sunday service. They don't go around every camp on Sunday morning and go, "Hey, come to church. No, they just host a Sunday morning service. Those people that come.
Yeah.
Right? But they start with, "Let me help you do what you need done, and let me take the jobs. I'm going to take the shitty jobs that nobody wants by cleaning the bathrooms."
Yep.
That's helping people where they need. I'd be more apt to listening to someone who's willing to come down and help me when I'm throwing up on the side of the street because I ate something wrong and carry me to my freaking car or carry me to a doctor.
Yeah.
Now I'd be open to listen to whatever he's talking about, Buddhism, whatever it is. You see what I mean? He helps me when I need help.
I agree. It's not just blah.
Yeah, that's business. That's exactly what we preach in the influencer space. Help people. Help them with the need they have and let them see that you have the solution, right? And then work forward at trying to make a sale.
Totally agree. And that kind of ties in to our topic.
We had a good
because, and I know some people might recognize this topic. I'm not going to name names, but they'll probably recognize it. But I mean, as big company, what if you make your state that you're in your number one enemy because of just something you said or went against or decided?
Are you raining on my sunshine?
No. But I mean, this is a big issue for especially big corporations. It's getting to that point that if they say something wrong or they do something, that now everybody's out to get them, and they have a bigger audience that go against them than just a small entrepreneur. And I mean,
I think what's happening in this situation, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're starting to see the backlash. All right, the haters can come from either side.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, this is just going to show all of us who are trying to sit on our high and mighty throne and go, well, you are wrong. Guess what? There's a point in time where we're going to be wrong.
Yeah.
I always loved the Zig Ziglar. It was a comment he made about going to church, and he used to say, if you don't go to church because you think there's too many hypocrites at church, he says, we always have room for one more. You should come join us. This situation and every situation that's going on in the news today is a perfect example that when you stand up on anything, all right, there is a place that when you stand up and voice your point, there is a place that someone will find where you are a hypocrite against the very thing you are standing, because they will take that example of where you're at in this situation and say, wait a minute, but in this situation over here, you think that's all right. How come?
Didn't you do this? Wasn't it the same thing?
Yeah.
Why is it bad here, but it was good here? And why is it okay for you, but it's not okay for me? And
wait. You really want to know Tim's opinion on how we fix this?
Oh, okay. Go for it, Tim.
When I can sit up here and acknowledge the fact that that is your opinion and this is my opinion, and as long as I stick with my opinion and not try to tell you that you have to follow my opinion and make it fact.
Yep.
It's my opinion. It's your opinion. The problem is we have too many people who go, yeah, but it's facts. It's facts because it's your opinion. The word your truth, there is nothing out there more that says lies than the word your truth. Yep. Truth is truth.
And that's not freedom of speech. It's an opinion. It's not freedom of speech. It's an opinion.
Opinion. Exactly. Right? It's like we're using this idea of your truth. Truth is the color white is white. That's truth. Right? But
cream, it could be.
Yeah. See, but that's what happens. We start playing with that.
Yeah.
And now we become a confused world. If we don't stop and go one place, okay, like in our country, this is the law. We follow the law. Does that mean the law doesn't get challenged from time to time and new laws get made? That's what the process is designed to do.
Yep.
Right? But we acknowledge that's the law. When I come up to a stop sign and I stop at it, that's the law. If I drive through the stop sign and the policeman was there, he comes up and gives me a ticket because I ran the stop sign. And the law says stop at a stop sign.
Yeah. You can't say, no, sir.
The only law in America today that is not like legitimized, all right, is the speed limit. You should always be allowed to go 10 to 15 miles an hour over what they posted.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it has to be above, not below.
Above, yeah. And wait a minute. And if you're in front of me going 15 miles under the speed limit, I'm going to ram your ass. Yeah.
Sounds like you've gone through this before. But I mean, with this particular issue, it's a big company. It's a huge, huge company. And the fight that's going on is not just a matter of, okay, what he said, she said. It affects thousands and millions of people.
Do you remember that movie with The Rock, where he went back to his hometown and there was a casino there? I don't remember what the name of the movie is. I'm gonna have to look it up real quick. Basically, yeah, I'll look it up while you continue on. So,
but I mean, and like I said, this is a big company that's going up against where they have made their business home. So, and that has been their business home for over, I think, maybe 30 years. I think it is 30 some years. And now they're being told, because they disagree, that they are a guest, they are not welcome anymore. And they've been there for 30 years, supplying jobs, supplying revenue, supplying taxes, supplying all of these factors. And now all of a sudden, because of something they did not agree with, now they're the enemy of the state, so to speak.
well, I don't know. Each state has a right to have its own laws. That is the great thing about America is you don't like the laws in the state, move to another one.
Yeah.
All right. And I love it when I see people move to, like we've got a lot of people move to Texas. And then the first time they utter it out of their mouths, yeah, but back in California, we did it this way. I'm like, well, then go back to California. In Texas, we do it this way. You don't like it, leave. Right. But
I agree. You don't need to change just because you move someplace because you didn't like your previous state doesn't mean that now you're going to change that state into what you believe. And that's not the right, that's not it.
I personally left the state of Pennsylvania because of how laws were in Pennsylvania, right? A man could break into my property, all right, in Pennsylvania, and I had no right to defend my land unless I marked the land. And it was a weird thing. I could not defend my land, and a man was able to come on my property, start a fight with me, and then press charges against me.
Yeah.
And I disagreed with that. Now in Texas, yeah, good luck trying that in Texas. Yeah.
Different story. It's a different story out here too. I mean, it's the same way. We're right next to Texas, so that maybe that's why it ties in. But I mean,
but wait a minute. But let's talk about this. In the case with this corporation, who changed, the state or the corporation?
The state.
Are you sure?
Well, my understanding is it was a topic of a law that the state was incorporating that this corporation disagreed with.
Yeah.
And it was going to become a new law and so they disagreed with it and they voiced their opinion, which is just an opinion. But because they voiced that opinion, now the state has decided they're going after this corporation full on, and they're taking away a lot of the things that were put in place those 30 years when they first started in this state. But those things that they started, they actually paid for a lot of the things that now the state people are going to be having to pay. And now they're going to have to foot the bill, as well as in another state where this corporation is, those people are going to have to now foot the bill in their taxes and their housing taxes, and they're all going to go up. And it's the people that are going to be paying for that decision and that argument between the state and this corporation. So as a corporation, and it's a big corporation, how do you handle this? I mean, do you legal up and fight?
I would close down my location and say, okay, fine, we'll pull out.
I would too, and take all the jobs with you. I would too, but it's a big endeavor to do this because of how much is there. But that's a decision they have to make. What's worse, dealing with this or just picking up and moving to a totally different state?
Yeah. And
Texas, by the way, now is talking to that corporation and saying, we'll have you. Come on over.
Yeah. I remember here in the Dallas area, there is there was 2 Apple stores in our county at 2 different malls. The mall right up from me and the mall further up. The last 2 malls built in Texas. The last 2 indoor malls built in the state of Texas. All right. And the Apple store was there. However, that county had a certain law for arbitrating against consumer products. All right. And Apple did not like the laws. So Apple went and closed their stores and paid their lease out. So basically said, yes, we're closing our stores, but we were in a lease agreement until, 2019, 2020. So we'll pay for the lease on the store. All right. But we're closing the store up. We'll put the signs on our boards around our store that basically say this location is closed. Please go to our new location down at. All right. And basically that's what you do is you close up and you move shop outside that county so that basically, because the law in the county disagreed with the operation agreement with the not operation agreement. What's the agreement they have that users agreement?
Oh, I can't think of it.
Well, no,
yeah, I know what you mean.
When you buy an Apple product, the users agreement. All right.
Terms and conditions.
Yeah, it did not work in this county. So Apple pulled all their stores out of that county.
Yeah. And I have a feeling that's what's going to happen here is that they're going to just pull everything out. All those jobs will be gone.
Mm-hmm.
And the state's going to have to pick up the pieces because it's one of their biggest employers in their state.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but if a corporation can control the government and control the laws of the land, what does that say?
Yeah. Well, and part of that though too, it's kind of a twofold because the thing is that a lot of our state legislative, not to get into politics, have been putting in laws without them even being voted into law. They're just
that's where it's wrong. You know what I mean?
They're just doing it, and that's not government.
No, that's it's got to go through the law process of that state. But if that corporation controls that state, what's to stop the biggest corporation in America? And I don't know what it is, but let's just say it's Walmart. What's to say Walmart, the biggest corporation in America, says, you know what? We're going to close up all of our stores and send all of our people home and give them no jobs if Joe Biden doesn't resign. Corporations should not be able to take, it's a flip thing. Corporations should not be able to take control of a state or country, and the state or country should be able to work within laws to compromise. All right. But we've dealt with, for how many years we've dealt with the people who are in Washington, D.C., and every corporation's got how many, what do they call them? You know what I mean? People up there influencing the law to benefit
senators them.
Well, no, what's not the senators, but the people who get to the senators, the political, not analysts, but
I don't know. I can't think of it.
But basically their people, their whole purpose of their company is up there to influence senators and congressmen on the law.
They're like stockholders and their executive.
I can't think of the name of it, but the idea behind it is they now influence the government on the laws.
Well, and there's a lot of companies out there that are influencing the government and the laws because of the money they have.
I know.
And that's going on. That's been going on for
years.
Years and years. And that's a whole other entity where you've got this many people and corporations deciding for a huge amount of people because they have the money, they have the will, they have the capacity, and that's not, I mean, as we know, that's not democracy. That's just how much money do you have? Okay, give me that and I'll make sure this takes care of. Okay, how much money? Okay, give me that and I'll make sure this is taken care of. And that, I mean, and that's with corporations too, like we were talking about. As a corporation, when you have a solid base in a state and you have really been there for quite some time, it's kind of like a slap on the face too. But also, like you said, we can't run our government based on what corporations are saying, but yet that's what we're doing in a lot of ways.
But this should be a situation where they come in to negotiate with the state. Okay, what is it? What is it we're doing wrong? And what is it? How can we compromise that we can stop doing some things and not, you know what I mean? That's what we don't realize. This is a compromise. And all right. And
people have lost that. I think people have lost that ability, and that is to compromise, because it's my way or the highway, and that nobody wins.
Yeah, well, that's it, because we all learned this. I'm in marketing. We all learned how to market. All right. And every topic out there, if you read the marketing onto it, it markets a story that makes you influence to the way they want you to think. Not the truth. It's just the way they want to influence the way you think. And half the time, the story they're over here telling you to market the product has nothing to do with the freaking problem. But you get the public emotionally involved on the story.
Yep.
All right. And you can make a total fictitious lie story. And you get the public emotionally involved on the fictitious lie story. It totally diverts from what they're really trying to do.
Yeah. They're sold.
All right. Because let's face it, the media game right now is who can get what in the media. And
the most sensationalized that people are going to watch and go, ooh,
yeah,
wow, I didn't know that. Did you hear? And then it starts the whole buzz. Did you hear? Did you hear?
And it's all right, and it's all opinion. It is not based on this is what's the best. This is what's the best move, and why we need to have a law stating yes or no. It's, well, let me convince you with your opinion as a woman there, Katrina, because I know I get offended. I can touch you because you're a woman in a way to make you go, oh yeah, we need to do that.
Yep.
Right. But in the meantime, the logical person who's actually in the whole situation knows, wait a minute, if we do that, here's the downfall to it. Step 1, step 2, step 3. In 4 years, we'll be gone.
Yep.
Right. We can go back to every problem we have, and you can go back over 4 to 5 years, and you can see the step down because of where the decision was made to make the problem a problem. Yep. And this is something that I learned a long time ago. Every solution we create causes more problems.
Yeah.
We don't understand that.
That's just like as a business. The bigger you get, the more issues you are going to have, because now you're in a position that you weren't before. So now you're going to have these issues or these issues that now you're going to have to try and resolve. And that's the same way with the problem. The bigger the problem gets, the bigger the issues get.
Yeah.
And the more you have to try and finesse that and figure out, okay, how are we going to fix this as opposed to that? But I think it's interesting that even when it's corporate or even when it's an entrepreneur, I think we have to realize that there's compromises that have to be made.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's a lose-lose situation. Nobody wins. Nobody wins. And that's the problem that I think we're having in society right now. Even with businesses, it's like it's my way or the highway. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. Mm-hmm. And then as they walk out that door, more walk out the door, more walk out the door. And then they're sitting there going, oh, shit. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea.
Well, I mean, we want to play that. We talk about this problem in the state. I mean, let's look at where you came from, California. How many people are just fed up with the way things are in California?
Oh my God!
And they left, right?
Yeah. Like we're done.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like I left Pennsylvania to move to Texas. Why? Because I thought Texas was the better place for me, right? Yeah. That's why, is because I moved to a state where the issues that mattered to me were addressed in a different way. I'm not saying I moved to a state because of a political decision, because it's not. I moved to where the things that mattered to me were handled in a way that I preferred.
Yes, I agree. And that can change, because as we know, each state can change. They can change the way they do things. They can change their laws. They can change things so that they can bring somebody else in the office that now is just put everything upside down, and then they might have more people come back. But I think as a whole, even as an entrepreneur, I think it's harder for us in some respects than corporate, because corporate has more money and they have more pull. So in some cases, they can make it more painful if that compromise isn't found between. They can make it a lot more painful, just like with this corporation. It's going to be painful if they pull out. Painful for that that state. It's going to cause that state huge hardship.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that's probably what's going to happen. They're just going to say, okay, we're out of here. And I bet you they're looking around right now at other places for the weather, what they can get, how everything's laid out, if that's a good fit for them. I'm sure they're already doing that right now and scouting out places. And okay, how do we do this? Okay, how much is it going to? Okay, let's do it this way. Let's do it that way. Whatever the case may be, before this takes effect, which they have about a year, I think. It's not going to take effect until 2023, I think it is. So they have a year to start pulling all these places and dismantling everything and then laying everybody off, which is going to hurt that state. But like you said, I mean, is it right for a corporation to also change those rules? And also on the other side, is it right for that state to say, oh, we've decided we're going to put this law into place, even though nobody voted on it? We've just decided we're going to put it into place. Mm-hmm. And whether you agree with it or not, we really don't care. Yeah. Oh, by the way, because you disagree with it and you've been here 30 years, you're not family, you're just a guest.
Well, that's, as we said, that's been the political game for the past couple of years.
Yeah. But on top of this, though, the biggest thing that I think that bothers me the most, not necessarily that piece, is that now there are two entities that don't like this corporation. And now one entity is deciding that they're going to try and take all their copyrights away from their product that is theirs, that they pulled together, that they worked hard to do, and now they want to pull the copyrights for all of that.
You can't, yeah, that's where it comes into copyright law. So
yeah, and so
that'll go to the Supreme Court on copyright.
Of course,
it'll go all the way up to the Supreme Court.
But as an entrepreneur, I mean, when you're looking at that as an entrepreneur, and even small businesses, we've had that problem in California, for instance. There was a bakery that refused to do a cake for this particular wedding party. And because they refused to do it, they had all these people that were at their doorstep with signs and the whole works, to the point where, and he has that right to refuse service to anyone.
Right. Yeah.
It's his business.
Yes.
And he has that right to do that. I'm not saying if it's good or not, but he has that right. That's his business.
Here's what I always say: whether I agree with his opinion or not, he has the right to, because he owns the business.
Absolutely. And so why not just go to another baker that can help you with what you need? You just move on.
Just move on.
But instead, they were going to ruin this baker. And in the respect of doing that, he ended up closing his doors and losing his business because of the cancellation community saying, well, okay, you went against this, even though it's your business. You're the one who pulled it together. You're the one who works it every day. It's your morals and values that are part of this business. Because of that, now we're going to make sure that we get you close your doors. That's not right.
No,
it's just not right. And as a business owner, we have our own morals and values that we base our business on. Is it the right morals and values for all of our clients and customers? No, but that's why we only talk to and deal with the clients and customers that tie into what our morals and values are. That's why we find our community.
But if you keep shutting businesses down because of the fact that, one by one, I'm going to get rid of the people who don't disagree with us, pretty soon you're going to be limited to who you can do business with.
Exactly. And guess what? The price is going to go up because you're limited. Now they can put the price up because now you don't have all these choices. Now you only have 3. And because you only have 3, oh, sorry, that's going to cost you this much. But before it was, well, yeah, you closed all those other guys down. So now you have 3 to deal with. Yeah. And these are the 3.
It's your own damn fault the price is that high.
Yep.
I always love that book from our your kids. What is it? Like your kid, Larry Wingett. Your kids are your own damn fault. You ever look at Larry Wingett's book titles?
Yeah. No.
They kind of address this stuff, and I'm not sure what that half of his book titles are like meant to be one side or the other. They just so.
But I mean, as a business owner, you've got to
His
You
one is
that
okay.
fine line we were talking about, even with social media. What if you put, some companies have been shut down because of a social media post they put out
Yeah,
that was inappropriate,
yeah,
and they lost a lot of money because of that inappropriate social media post.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's this fine line nowadays being a business owner. Who am I going to piss off? Who am I not going to piss off? Is it going to piss off my community? Is it not going to? What if it pisses off this person and now they decide they're going to come and they're going to come after me and this and blah, blah, blah. And they're going to try and shut me down. I mean, if it was your business and you were working it and you worked your ass off to build this business, and because of one person that disagreed with what you had to say and decides, I'm going to take that sucker down, how would you feel?
Yeah.
I think people, they've gotten to this point where they feel like, well, they went against me, so by God, I'm going to take them down because they didn't agree with me, so I'm taking them down. Like we talked about, opinion. That's not freedom of speech. It's an opinion.
Yep. So I looked it up real quick. Larry Wingen's books. Larry Wingen's books, and these are all something, probably give you a little bit of insight into how you can handle life. It's called Work for a Reason. Your success is your own damn fault. You're broke because wait a minute. You're broke because you want to be. How to stop getting by and start getting ahead.
Yep.
Shut up, stop whining, and get a life. Right?
Or the one, I can't remember the author at this time, but it's called What the Fuck or something like that.
His other book, People Are Idiots and I Can Prove It.
That's an easy one. That's a very easy one to do.
Right, but going back earlier, we talked about this a little bit earlier, and I looked it up. The Dwayne Johnson movie, all right, The Rock, was in a movie called Walking Tall.
Oh, yeah. That was a remake.
Yeah, it was a remake. In that movie, he goes back home to his hometown. The mill he grew up around, all right, is closed. All of the local businesses are closed, all right, and the thing that runs the town is the casino. And there's one, like, he goes to file an offense against the casino, and the sheriff says, well, that's a no-fly zone. They pay us a lot of money in taxes, so we don't enforce the law to them. That's the situation we could get into when the corporation controls the town or state.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, was what we're trying to avoid here is, the corporation should not get a no-fly zone. All right. I don't think my corporation should get a no-fly zone. I don't think yours should get a no-fly zone.
No.
I think we all need to adapt to the laws. Are the laws going to change? Yes. Get over it. They're going to change. Hire lawyers and figure out how to get around the law. That's what most successful corporations do. They hire lawyers and find their ways to work around the laws when they were passed.
Yeah.
Right. And political, not consultants, they're political. I forget what they are. They're like a political consultant, and basically they go to Washington, D.C. and fight on the behalf of corporations to influence how the laws are written. Yeah. That's why we have laws that are being passed in our country, all right, that are 70 some odd pages, and no congressman has read them all as he agrees to it.
No. Well, and that's like we were talking about too. When I grew up and I learned about government and I learned about how to, remember the School of Rock, how a bill becomes a bill.
Yes.
How a law becomes a law. And they took you through the whole process of what that took. And it takes steps. It takes all these steps. But nowadays, those steps are just we're not going to take those steps. We're just going to make it a law. Nobody's going to vote on it. We're just decided that this is the law we're going to put in place. And because a couple of our constituents feel that it should, so we're going to do it. And that's not government. That's not government of the people. That's government of whomever's running that particular state. And that I think we've really gotten away from the democracy of we all vote for this, whether it be in our state or the country in itself. We all vote for this. We all decide with the majority what we want to put into place. And it seems to me that we're not getting that.
No.
It's just, oh, by the way, we made this law without you knowing about it.
Yeah, we're getting things sidestepped and put around. All right, we're having laws created in the middle of the night, so nobody knows that they're being created. We have the process of creating laws is fighting it and having to go to the Supreme Court to be made a law. That's not how it's supposed to work.
No, it's not. It's supposed to go through this process, and we've just skipped all of that.
Bypassing the process. So, the processes were put there in our country's constitution, all right, as well as our state's constitutions, to think of it in the fact of how we maintain and work onto it as a growing country. All right. Yeah. I personally think that if our founding fathers seen where we're at and what we were doing to bypass things, I think the founding fathers, I think it is nowhere near what their purpose they thought this country was for.
Now they'd all have their middle fingers up at all of us going, you know what? You guys, we sacrifice so much for you people to have this freedom and this, and you're just throwing it away.
Throwing it all away. Yeah.
Throwing it all away. And we did all this sacrifice for you, don't even freaking care. So you know what? You get what you get.
Yeah. So I mean, when it comes to our businesses, all right, what would you do if your corporation's being done this? What would you do?
I think I would work it out. I would sit at the table and say, listen, how can we work this out amicably so that we can stay and we can still be a part of the community and keep the jobs here and so on and so forth? Because, we got to work this out, because it's the people that are going to get hurt, not you and I. It's the people. And that's what we care about. So how do we work this out? That's what I would do personally. Now, I don't know how this is going to, and I'm sure maybe that might play out, but when you've pissed off somebody and there's a vendetta, sometimes they don't want to hear it. Nope, sorry, don't want to hear it. You had your chance. We're done.
Yeah.
We're done. And that's what we've been talking about, is that I think in reality, we have to open our minds and be open to people's opinions and agree to disagree, like we've talked about. We don't have to be on the same side, but at least we can come to a compromise, which a lot of people are not doing. And guess what, people? When you don't compromise, nobody wins. Even you. Nobody wins, because it's all got a domino effect. And that's what they're finding out right now. If they decide to pull out, it's going to be a huge domino effect. And even when this law becomes a law, it's a huge domino effect that affects you and I and the taxpayers. And it comes directly out of our pocket again and again and again with these decisions that are made thinking, oh, well, this is a great decision. But then, well, wait a minute, we're the ones who voted you into office and you're screwing us over again.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, right now, for the longest time, the government has been based on how many corporations out there can, grease the wheels to get what they want. And then, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll give you this much for your for your running as a candidate and if you do this for me, or we work on this for me, blah blah blah. It's this, and that's not for the people, and it's not sustainable either. And it's going to get to that point where now they're sitting there going, wait, nobody's buying this and nobody's buying that, and wait a minute, I'm losing money here. What's going on? Because you didn't think it through. But just like as a business, we have to think things through. We have to do what's best for us, and we also have to do what's best for our audience and our community, because that's basically what it's about. It's about the people we're serving. It's about the people we're helping. It's not about us.
Hi, Facebook user. I think that's Melanie Weiser, but hey, Facebook user, hi. I couldn't do that so they know that they're not being seen very well.
Where's your picture? But this is a big, I'm hoping they can work it out, because it would be a huge detriment on both sides. So I'm really hoping they can work it out.
Wait a minute. If they don't work it out, how well is it going to affect your pocketbook?
I don't know if it'll necessarily affect my pocketbook, but it's going to definitely affect the state where they put the law in place as well as one other state because of this entity that is in these particular states.
So
It's going to
no.
affect all of them.
But my point is, how much is it going to affect you? And if it doesn't affect you, then why do you have an opinion on it?
Well, it may not affect me, but it will affect my community that are in those areas. And then that directly affects me because then if they can't, if they're having more money taken out of their pocket, now they can't pay to get services that I'm helping to provide them with. So yes, it would affect me because what I do online. I don't do it just in my local community. I do it across the United States. And that can affect me because I've got people over there and I've got people over in the other areas. So it will affect me.
The reason I put that up is this is how so many people have opinions on stuff and it doesn't directly affect them.
Yeah.
But and they will be out there voicing their opinions when it doesn't directly affect you.
Yeah.
All right.
It will affect me though.
That's in my opinion, that's their battle, right? Let them fight the battle out. Not going to change my business one way or another. And when it comes to business, you should be building a business that affects your community. And you should worry about this. But we have too many businesses trying to stick their nose in everybody else's business and trying to tell them how they should run their business. I have no qualms, all right, and do not care what businesses happen in Norristown, Pennsylvania anymore. I don't care. I don't live there.
Yeah. But do you have any clients from there?
Huh?
Do you have any clients from there?
I may. I don't know.
I mean, it depends on your business. If you're a local business, mom and pop shop, and it's not going to affect you there, then yeah, why do you care?
Most of my clients have businesses online, and the local state and community laws do not affect them.
Yeah.
In other words, build a business so that you're not caught up in everybody's drama.
Well, and here's the thing, though, too, is you may not be caught up in everybody's drama, but that drama may come to you just because of one decision or one thing you said. And that's what this is all about. It's not necessarily not caring about that person or that entity because it's not going to affect me. It's the fact that just by saying one thing or disagreeing with one thing, how it's affecting.
That's my point is if you're going to make it public, you know that you're going to stop doing that.
Step on people's toes.
That should be your lesson. Why did we not have the topic last week? Because I stepped on that ant's nest once. Yeah. I'm not stepping on that. I'm not stepping on that hornet's nest again. I learned from it, right?
Yes.
And this is where we're not learning our lessons in life. So they keep stepping on another hornet's nest. Well, guess what? Of course you're getting bit. Yeah. But if you didn't step on, my point is on this is why I asked that is if you didn't step on a hornet's nest, would it directly affect your life? It's like the people fighting over, and they're still out there, still fighting over the fact that they think Donald Trump won the last election. Who gives a fuck? Does it really affect your personal life?
I know.
It doesn't.
No.
Why are you fighting with your neighbor over it?
Yeah, it's kind of like you're regurgitating something that no longer needs to be regurgitated. Yeah. That everybody else has moved on, and you're still back here regurgitating. What about? Well, you're already moved on, guy. You need to move on.
I had a business that I sold in 2004 in the car wash industry. I don't give a rat's ass what the laws are in the car wash industry. I got out of it 18 years ago.
Does it affect?
When I go to get my car washed, all right, I'm sure I'm partially the things that are happening in the industry is because of laws that got changed in the industry since then.
Yep.
But I don't follow it. All I do when I go to the car wash is wash my damn car, and here's your money.
But on the other side of that, if it might affect this one business, and domino effect might start to affect other businesses because of this one thing.
It still does not, Katrina, validate for me to get into a fight.
No, I agree with that.
Let them fight their own battle.
They have to fight their battle. Yeah. I agree with that.
What
I'm saying, what I was trying to make a point of is, as a business owner, you have decisions you have to make too with your community.
Yeah.
And not pissing off your community. And that if you piss off that one person in that community that now decides they're part of that cancellation culture and they're going to cancel you out, That's what you have to, it's something you have to deal with, especially if you're doing social media. It's something you have to deal with. And that's why I always tell my clients, even with social media, you be careful what you post online because it can come back to bite you.
Yes.
And that's what we talk about here. We got to be careful what we talk about here because it could come back and bite us, like you said, where you had a topic and you were like, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
We learned our lessons, so we move on. But that's what I'm saying is this is a good lesson for other businesses to look at and say, okay, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to learn to compromise and learn how to work it out so that way I don't get canceled out, so to speak. And that's what this whole topic I thought was interesting and about was make you realize as a business, the actions you make online will affect you later down the road if you don't do it wisely.
Yeah, of course.
And that's kind of part of being an entrepreneur is learning your I mean, there were times I posted something and it came back to bite me in the ass. I was like, okay, I won't be doing that again.
Yeah.
Just like you, I opened that wasp nest and then I had to apologize and do retreat. And I posted this and I got to apologize. It wasn't blah, 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 blah. And now I learned, okay, I'm not posting that. Got to stay away from that. Even when I post things for my clients, there's certain things we have to look at because of today's society or the topics or what to stay away from, what to put, kind of walk around lightly and that type of thing. So it's all part of business. It's part of figuring out how to still keep your community thriving and interested without pissing them off so much that now you're going, ooh. But then there are also businesses where that's where they thrive is pissing people off.
Well, that's it. That's their whole business model is let's piss people off.
That's what they do.
And I don't subscribe to that business model, and I won't do it. All right, and I know a lot of people who will.
Yeah. So, but we'll stay safe and sane.
Exactly.
But I found this really good. Getting off that topic.
Let's get off that topic and move on.
I found this really cool, interesting thing. It's Google is they're pulling out another smart glass. They had one in 2012 that didn't do so well because it had issues and because of the cost, which was like $1,500, and people were like, yeah, no, I'm not buying that just for that. But this one is for translation. So it will, if you go, for instance, you go to France, you don't know French, you just know English, you can talk to somebody and it will translate it in your glasses so that you can talk back.
So wait a minute.
What they're saying.
Let me get this right. I go to France. All right. I don't understand what you're saying. So I put this on and then you go, no, I'm not an a-hole. How many times have you wondered? All right, you ever watch the? Like, that's not what they're saying.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, maybe you don't want to wear the glasses. You may not want to know.
Well, that sound, you know what I mean? What was the one movie where oh gosh, it was I can't remember the I think it was the guy Matthew Perry from Friends was in
Friends,
and he had the Spanish speaking wife. And she said something really mean in Spanish. And he goes, what does that mean? And she says it in English. And he goes, sounded so much sexier in Spanish.
I remember that one. But I mean, and the thing is they're not planning on selling it really to the public. They're planning on selling it to enterprises where people go out all the time. So now you don't have to necessarily learn the language. You can wear your little glasses.
So they're not selling it to the public. Where are they going to sell it and how's it going to be used?
What are they going to say? What?
Where are they going to sell it and how is it going to get used then? If you're not offering it to the public, you're going to offer it to corporations. What are the corporations going to do? Rent it?
No idea.
Yeah.
They didn't say, and they didn't say when it's coming out. They don't have a name for the glasses. They're still in the process of working it. But they said the other thing that they are utilizing it for too is the deaf that didn't learn how to use sign language so that now they know what you're saying so they can then respond back as well. But I don't know. I have no idea. I frankly, I'm not sure it's really it might fizzle again. We She'll see.
Wait a minute. Do you remember when Google Plus was going to be the next hottest social media?
Yeah, where is it now?
Go on.
Right? And Hangouts, there was the Google Hangouts that you could do online meetings. That was kind of the first online meeting, if you think about it. Or Zoom came along.
It was the first mass media. Like it hit its first mass idea there. There was a lot of smaller companies doing it, all right, but it wasn't massively known.
No.
They made it massively known so the general public could do it, right?
Yeah.
And now, now other companies have then gone on and they did away with it. With Google Hangouts was originally the concept behind the company Kartra. Before they were Kartra, they had Webinar Jam, and that's what Webinar Jam was created around the concept of Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
It was their software that they did it with.
Yeah, exactly. I think that they'd done it the right way, it would have taken off, but I don't think they really did a really good job. Yeah, they didn't do a very good job of it.
Google Minus, is that the name of their new platform, or is that the name of the new glasses? Google Minus.
A little bit of both. I mean, and that's a good example with Google on not taking advantage of the opportunity and running with it before somebody else took it and said, no, that's not good, so we're going to do it this way. They didn't really work that through.
I want you to think about this. The cost of getting those glasses in 2012 was what, $1,500 to $1,900?
$1,500.
How much does the average person pay for an iPhone right now?
Wow. Well, I think they're up to almost $2,000, aren't they?
Yep. They're between $1,000 and $2,000 now.
Yeah, they're almost up to $2,000. And guess what? They can do translation on their phone.
Hello.
They don't need glasses. They can look at their phone and get it translate and go.
I remember when I started my business buying these Dell laptops. I was buying them for $900 a piece, and they would last me for 2 years before I had to basically upgrade and get another one. Yeah. And then I went to Mac. I mean, now this is my second desktop Mac that I've had. I got this last year because my other one was crashed, right? But that one there I had for 8 years almost.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's another topic we can talk about.
I mean, that's just showing you where technology has advanced. Now, possibly these glasses may work in a different. They may work in a different arena, and they may work with newer technology that's out there.
That's true. Very true. And I wanted to talk about this one resource. I used to use this resource a lot, and I've kind of.
I tried it once too.
Huh?
I tried it once too.
And and they still have a free version of this, but it doesn't do as much. But MailChimp, I don't know if people have started utilizing MailChimp, but now they want to be the one-stop shop, just like a lot of the other ones. And now they're advertising that they do funnel pages and websites and online stores and calendar options, domains, content, all these other things, and that they also integrate with over 250 platforms. So, I mean, it depends on what you're looking for and what you're trying to accomplish. It's still a cheaper option, but
it can be, wait a minute, but it can be a more expensive option.
Yes.
All right. Personally, before you choose something like MailChimp, I personally use Kartra more. All right. You're learning. What's the new one you're learning?
High level.
Go high level. So, I mean, before you choose any of them, one of the reasons why I always say you should be part of a mastermind, or you should be part of, you should have a mentor. Actually have a conversation with your coach or mentor, because they will actually sit down with you and look at the outline of your business before you go with this and go, well, that's the cheapest model. And then after you try to build your business around it, find out that it cost you 4 times as much. I did a meetup this past week on Tuesday night. The guy was like, well, I forget what shopping cart system he had. And when he explained to me after he means, well, it was free to get started, but then I had all these little added-on apps. And there's another person in the audience, same thing, had all the add-on apps. Yeah. All their add-on apps was 3 times what I'm paying for Kartra.
Yep. And on top of that, too, you want to keep in mind, is it really easy for you to utilize? And as your business grows, is it going to grow with you, or are you going to outgrow it? Now you have to transfer everything over.
That almost always is the problem. They don't grow with you, and they end up costing you more, and you stay there because it's a headache to move everything. I've been with HostGator for 12 years, right? And I'm looking now after, I'm telling you of moving everything over to SiteGround. I know the hassle I'm about to deal with in doing this, but SiteGround now has better options for us the way we run our websites.
Yeah, and it grows with you. It doesn't grow.
Yes.
You don't outgrow it.
Yes. And that's where you have. At the time, when I started, HostGator was the greatest thing out there too. HostGator and Bluehost, I think, were the same. Yeah. All right.
And it used to be 1-in-1. Now it's called Ono or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you really have to check these things out and really figure out.
I'm still trying to figure out LinkedIn. Don't feel bad. Me too.
We all are. Everybody's trying to figure out.
I hated LinkedIn. All right. I have friends who are like very top-notch trainers at LinkedIn. They have been like for 15 years, right? As a matter of fact, one of them set up my LinkedIn profile. I didn't even do it. They did it for me, right? I hate LinkedIn because people would friend me on LinkedIn or connect with me on LinkedIn. They would message me a sales pitch in the LinkedIn Messenger Center. And if I didn't respond, they would get the information off of my LinkedIn account, add my email address to their marketing thing, market the shit out of me to their email address. And one guy actually, within an hour of accepting his connection, was trying to call me.
Yeah.
On the phone. Well, you accepted friends with me, so apparently you want to buy whatever I'm selling. I remember telling that man to F off.
Yeah, that's one thing you always have to learn as a business owner. Get to know them first before you sell on them. Because the key things like we've talked about, people buy from people they know, like, and trust.
Yes.
If you're going to sell them right outside the gate, that's not going to get you that
just because I've connected with you on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all right, Google, whatever, plus Google minus, all right, whatever it is. Just because I connected with you doesn't mean I'm ready to have a conversation with you yet.
Nope.
I may want to watch your Instagram pictures for the next couple of months. Doesn't mean I want to call you. Doesn't mean I want to hire you. All right. That is the problem we have in the world today. All right.
Yep. You just say, thanks for the connection. I look forward to getting to know you and your business down the road. Done.
Exactly. So
done.
Well, that about wraps our week up here. All right. I think we've argued enough with each other.
You're already tired of me. Gotta go. Next.
I have another meeting at 1:00. All right. My time. And after that, I'm going to relax because I have been feeling like crap all week since doing our landscaping job that I really was not physically in shape to do. And my problem when I take on tasks like that is I rush to get the job done.
Yep. You should have hired somebody to do it.
I know. Rule number 1 in real estate is write a check. Don't do the work.
Yep. It's too hard. Too hard.
And if I would have wrote a check, I'd be feeling good today.
Yes, you would. So we're hoping that Tim feels much better for our next week's wonderful podcast that we will have another topic to talk about.
I'm sure we will.
And discuss.
Let's show everybody.
Thanks for checking in and thanks for being with us. And
if you haven't by now, follow us on Facebook.
Yes.
Facebook.com Business G Spot Podcast.
We're out there. We're getting up there. We're almost getting to our 40th or 50th.
Yeah. We also are on YouTube. All right. Go follow us on YouTube so we can help get our YouTube audience up as well. Yep. All right. I don't have the link for YouTube because it's a very, very long link right now. This is your website. So they want to come to you for website design. What else do you do other than website design?
We do websites. We also help you with, so we make your website an online ATM and then help you build the back end money machine.
Okay. Cool. So yep. I do Simple Easy events. I help people actually learn the concept of marketing things themselves, do it properly, do it right, and make it so people want to connect with you.
I can't get it's like he's that way. I got to get this down. This is easy. That's a little bit worse.
I look at the screen, all right, and you don't have enough objects behind you to realize where to point.
No.
See, the objects behind me tell me where to point. See, this tells me point towards you because you're on this side. Yeah. Right?
I don't have anything.
If I sit and look where I'm at, all right, because technically, all right, I really want to go, there you are right there.
To the right. To the right. To the right.
Yeah. But this is where having, see, this is on screen. I'm pointing, that's where you are, but because the way the camera is facing me, you're not.
Yeah, that way.
So
Yeah.
that's where I look at all these things I have around me: the microphone, the case,
Figure out where.
the guitar. It all tells me how to find which position to point to you on, and I know you're on the side with the microphone. You're there.
Got it.
That's a secret most people don't realize to do.
Well, see, if I look at my light, where my light is, that's where you are.
I know.
Right?
And almost all of the things in my background that have printing onto them, the words there's a chance that they can be reversed. All right, I don't have the words visible.
Yep, that's a good tip, folks.
All right,
Good
that's
tip,
setting up my background to make it work. So
good tip, good tip, good tip, good tip, good tip.
all right,
see, now I know where to point.
now you know. All right, guys, we're gonna call it quits. We're over an hour, so we will see you guys next week.